Started, huh? Okay. So today we will learn how to do because we have already learned about the dynamics of unbalance. Now there is a term I used to tell, residual unbalance. What is that residual unbalance? Means to get the vibration free rotor dynamical performance, basically the M0, ideally it should be 0. But actually, in practical, this is not possible. You can take take the example of our car wheel, where whenever there is some unwanted vibration, or the car manufacturer will tell that after this period you should balance the wheel. So when you are going to do the balancing, so you can see they will add some extra mass to nullify the effect of the unbalance. But still, after doing that also, they are trying to bring the unbalance within the limit, but they cannot make this value of unbalance mass exactly to 0. There will be some residual mass. That's why the term residual mass came. There will be some residual mass which is not balanced, and it is really difficult to make it 0. You can minimize, but it is not possible to make it exactly 0. So that residual mass limit, what should be the limit in industry? That we will learn today, and how to compute it. We will do first we will learn the methodology, then we will do one example, and then we will conclude today's session. So this dynamic balancing, the well accepted standard in industry worldwide is ISO 1940. Here in this standard, the entire methodology is written. So when we are going for the industry, we need very user-friendly computational technique, which will give us the actual result without going much more detail of the dynamics. Because if you are doing a balancing of a crankshaft of our car engine in the industry, and if you tell the technicians to compute all the differential equation solution and all, it is quite impractical. There should be some thumb rule. After doing all the analysis or the analytical calculations, we should arrive one thumb rule through which it can be done. So basically, we are going to learn it today. These are the, so when a rotor is getting manufactured, so the balance grade quality, that is G, is defined by the designer. It may vary. So here you see it is 4000 grade. If the grade number is high, that means the quality is less, and if the grade number is low, then the balance grade quality is high. This is the thing. So we'll learn slowly. See, normally the crankshaft drives. You know what is crankshaft? Crankshaft means there will be a shaft like this. So this is the journal of the shaft. This is the main journal, and this is the crank pin. Here only your bush will be there. This is the connecting rod. Here is the piston. And due to combustion, this piston will get a reciprocating motion. It will get a reciprocating motion. Means it will up, down, up, down. That reciprocating motion basically converted into rotational torque, RPM, torque and RPM. Here you see, definitely anybody can understand that due to this shape of the crank, there will be some unbalance. So definitely in big engines, if you see the earlier old engines, Alpha engine, Kirloskar old engines, that in that machine vibration will be, your foundation should be very strong. Otherwise, due to this reciprocating action, the vibration will be more, noise will be more. But today in our car engine and all, there was a when this kind of detailed engineering and all the simulation tools are available. Today it's definitely we are able to brought down to very low level. Today to avoid this, you see, there will be V kind of cylinder. There will be two cylinders. One piston will be moving in this direction. Another piston will be moving in this direction. You know, the force will be, so one force may be that due to that reason, one force will be in this direction. Suppose another force will be in this direction. And your entire static mass will work in downward. So now if this is the theta, so the force, if this is F, so to make stability, 2F cos theta should be equal to W. And if you are able to compute that F, then by adjusting the theta, you can make the entire system much more stable. These are the techniques, lot of techniques are available. At what angle it is to be inclined. Those are the things are very common today. So in normally, you see, where the reciprocating motions are involved, it may be reciprocating palm, where if there is a mechanism like this, if the geometry is like this, by the virtue of its construction, it will offer inherently some unbalance. So there definitely your grade, balancing grade quality should be poor. You have to deliberately, you have to allow more unbalance in the rotating mechanism. So these are the, up to these are the very low grade balancing technique are to be adopted. Means you have to allow more residual unbalance. Okay. Now for the small engines like car, agriculture machinery. Okay. For those cases, the quality is, the grading, balance grade quality is increased. Now, if you come to this 6.3 grade is widely used in the industry, in gas turbine, centrifugal extractor or centrifuge, through which, because that this is the through which that milk cream is separated, or in a nuclear engineering, through the centrifugal extractor, the enrichment of the fissile material is increased. So those are the cases where the RPM is very high. Okay, paper mills. In the paper mills, that there should the vibration should be very minimum. Okay, some process plant, turbochargers, all those places, the where the in centrifugal extractor, it will be rotating with several 10,000 RPMs. So those are the cases we need still better vibration performance. So the 6.3 grade is widely used in most of the process and the power industry. Then steel, where the RPM is high. Yes, in textile engines, in power handlooms, there the threads are, because the threads are moving inside a mesh, and if there is a vibration, the integrity of the thread will be getting disturbed. So it should be vibration free. So there we need still better performance. So definitely the residual mass is to be brought down. This audio video drives means old, that here it is mentioned old drives, where that rotating things are there. There also, if that if that is vibrating, then that magnetic tape with the transducer contact will be also not proper, and it will eventually reduce the audio video quality. Okay, gyroscope. Gyroscope also, this is the highest, you see, 0.4 is the highest grade. Okay, so this table shows the grade numbers. It's a grade number. Okay, so where, based on the application, which grade are to be used, this can be straightforward, you can take from this table. Now this is the curve. As I told, industry will use, they want the thumb rule. They don't want the rigorous dynamics behind it. They want some thumb rule. So suppose some industrialist or the manager of an industry told, you design a rotor which will give low vibration, and the application is in application will be in some turbo engine. So we can use turbo engine for general purpose turbo engines. We can, this is 6.3 grade, and this is the 5000. You come to 6.3. So 6.3 is here. You come straight down. So you see, my unbalance, I can allow that much, means 15 gram millimeter per kg. Why it is gram millimeter? We already learned that this is the eccentricity and this is the M0. So if you see the final amplitude, there is a term called EM0. If you remember the expression of the amplitude, so all other things are in omega and omega n, and there is a term called EM0 by M. So this M is in kg, this M is in gram, and this eccentricity is millimeter. So that's why it has come gram millimeter per kg. So this graph is a very important graph given in ISO 1940, through which very quickly a operator or a technician can find out what is the permissible residual unbalance for that particular application by considering the grade of the rotor. Now, how to calculate that? What is the maximum permissible residual unbalance mass? So this is the straightforward formula. So basically this part is the grade number. So based on that table, first table, you have to find out, and this is the, because this M is, it is in thousand, that means it is in gram and mm, so that's why this 1000 has come. This is the total rotor mass, total mass, and this sigma or omega, this is omega. This omega is RPM, means the rotational speed in radian per second. Already we know if a rotor is rotating with the RPM of n, okay. So in one rotation means 2 pi, n rotation means 2 pi n, and minute means 60 seconds, so pi n by 30. So if you multiply the RPM with pi by 30, it will give the value of omega in radian per second. Okay. So this is basically as per the ISO 1940. Using this formula, we can find out the permissible residual unbalance. Okay. So that unit is, as I told, it is gram mm. Because this was gram mm per kg. So when you multiply by the total mass, so this cancelled. So permissible unbalance is left out in gram mm. Already we learned all these things. Now, normally, even though we are calculating all these things, analytically we are understanding everything, but actual thing is, we don't know where is that mass. It is very difficult to, from the signature of the vibration, even though we can predict it, but practically we cannot visualize it. So say this is a turbine. This is a symbol of a turbine. Opposite of compressor. This is expander. High pressure is getting expanded and it is rotational motion is generating. And we can assume this is the center of mass. We can assume the entire permissible mass is operating through this point. Here will be, these are the A and B is the journal location. So here that in that plane, because this area only accessible, all because in the journal cover, journal bearing cover, you can put the transducer to see the vibration, but this area you cannot put because it is totally enclosed as well as it is rotating. So I am assuming this reaction is U per A, and this journal location reaction is U per B, permissible B. Basically, we have to find out this value. So it is, this distance is LA, this distance is LB, and total distance is L. So it is very clear that this force will try to rotate, create a couple in this direction, and this will create a couple in this direction. So when you are equating the couples, so U par A, this is the point through which it will try to tilt. So the distance is L is equal to U par, and that distance is, it will try to, from this position to this position, distance is LB. So now U par A is equal to U par into LB by L. Very simple. And U par B is equal to just opposite, U par LA by L. But here, one thing should be understand. One guideline, important guideline is given here, that the maximum value of when your permissible, total permissible mass, when you are distributing along the journal plane, it should be restricted to 70% of that value. That means, say in some case, your U total permissible value is 100. And after calculating, say this U par A, it has come 80. No, this 80 should not be taken. It is to be restricted to 70. Okay? It should not be larger than 70. Then we have to think. We have to think something. Either you have to change the journal location. This may be difficult. Something we have to do. It can't be accepted. We cannot accept that. So it is to be restricted. That value. So this value should be restricted to 70% of the total permissible unbalance. Similarly, somewhere, say now U par A, this has come, then U par permissible B, that is coming 20. No, this is not accepted. We have to restrict it to 30.
স্যার কেন আমরা তো যত কমাতে পারবো রেসিডুয়াল এটা ততই তো ভালো না? তো মানে ভালো, আমরা তো জিরোই করতে চাই অ্যাকচুয়ালি।
কিন্তু জিরো করতে গেলেও সেটা জিরোটা করা যাবে না। একটার দিকে কমাতে, একটার দিকে করতে গেলে অন্য দিকে বেড়ে যাবে। ইট ইজ ভেরি সিম্পল। তুমি যদি একটা দিকে সরিয়ে আনো, আরেকটা অটোমেটিক্যালি বাড়বে। সেই জন্য এই গাইডলাইনটা এরা থাম রুল হিসাবে দিয়ে দিয়েছে, যে when you are giving to the industry, so these two value should be lie between these two. It is obviously true that as low as possible is always better, but practically it will not happen. Other things, if you are moving that journal distance more, then your mode shape, the natural frequency will change. Lot of other factors are involved. So considering all these things, it was decided that it should be that the larger value should not be greater than the 70% of the total permissible unbalance, and the smaller value should not be lesser than the 30% of the total permissible unbalance. So now you see, you can take one simple thing. Say one rotor is like this. This is one bearing, this is one bearing. Say there is some unbalance. By hand, you just try to rotate it. After some time, what will happen? Slowly speed will come down, And after, just when you will try to stop, you will observe a oscillatory motion. It will move like this, and finally it will stop. That means here some unbalance is there. Now what we will do? Just in the opposite direction, you try to put some mass and you try to rotate. And that time you see that oscillatory motion will be not present. Smoothly, slowly, it stopped. That means this procedure is called static balance. So the static balance is basically, significant for mass balancing. From this example, it is very clear. As well as this couple also. Force into distance, that is couple. So in dynamic balancing, you remember, in dynamic balancing, we are doing mass balancing as well as the couple balancing. So now let us take one example. Everybody should do. There is a rotor. The total mass is 3000. Say it's a turbine. The total rotor mass is 3600 kg, and as our supply frequency is 50 Hertz, so it is rotating normally 3000 RPM, because most of the alternator will be two pole. There will be two pole machine with large power. So the rotor is a big rotor, so always better to reduce number of poles. So because its RPM is very high, so this is a two pole machine. So naturally the RPM is 3000 RPM. The journal A is located 1.5 meter from the center of mass and B 0.9 meter from the center of mass. And it's a gas turbine, and the grade is used 2.5 grade. Now somebody can calculate that U par. Tell me what is that? So that is equal to, we already learned, 1000 into grade number, that is 2.5, into total mass, this 3600, divided by the omega in radian per second. So we know RPM is given, we know what is omega, pi n by 30. So calculating what is that value?
The 314.16.
Okay.
314.16.
No, that is the omega. This total value.
Sir, 286.44.
286.44.
0.44.
This rotor mass is 3600. No?
হ্যাঁ স্যার 3600 তো নিয়েছি 100 2.5 গ্রেডটা তার সাথে মাসটা 3600 ডিভাইডেড বাই এই ওমেগাটা যেটা 3142 বের করা আছে র্যাড পার সেকেন্ডে।
তা সেটা করলে এটা আসে কোনোদিনও? এটা তো আমি পরিষ্কার দেখতে পাচ্ছি।
স্যার একবার করে দেখছি।
এটা 1000 রয়েছে, এখানে একটা 1000 রয়েছে, অনেক আসবে, অনেক বড় ভ্যালু আসবে।
স্যার 2864.41757 2864.41757
ওকে, সে যাই হোক।
স্যার এটা আছে একটা পয়েন্ট সরে গেছিল ভুল করে।
আমি জানি না এটা আদৌ এখনো ঠিক আছে কিনা। এনিওয়ে এটা দেখবো, দাঁড়াও আমি দেখে নিই।
স্যার আমার আছে 28,647.82।
হ্যাঁ স্যার 28,647.8।
ওইটাই আছে 28।
28,647।
হ্যাঁ এটা ঠিক আছে। So this much gram mm. This is the permissible total permissible unbalance. Now you know the formula. You find out LA and LB. U par A that is total unbalance into LB by L. LB is 900, L is this one. How much it is coming?
স্যার ওটা কি গ্রাম এমএম এ আসবে না কেজি এমএম এ আসবে?
না গ্রাম mm এ আসবে।
স্যার আর এই ওমেগাটা 314.2 লেখা আছে না 314.2 আছে।
The point তো ক্যালকুলেট
আচ্ছা 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 পয়েন্ট।
স্যার ইউ পার এটা এসছে 17904.88
1790.
4.875.
Okay. And U par B
10742.9.
কি
10742.9.
10?
হ্যাঁ 10.
না এটা তো কম আসবে না। U par A মানে হচ্ছে this 28,647 into 900 divided by 24, তারপরে 9 by 24, তারপর 3 নং 27, 3
হ্যাঁ স্যার ওটাই আসছে
স্যার
107.
ওটাই আছে 10742.6
10
742.9. 4
4
2.9.
এটা 15 ঠিক আছে। এখানে তো পরে করা আছে। ইয়েস আর এটা এবার দেখো what is the 30% of this?
স্যার
28,006.
8594.1
8
594.1
8594. And what is the 70% of this?
স্যার 20052.9 20052.9
Okay. So what this guideline was, the minimum value should be greater than this value. So minimum value was this 10,000, which is greater than this. So absolutely no problem. And the maximum value should be less than this. So it is less than 17,000 is less than 20,000. So that means now we can tell any time for this system, for any others, for any situation, any operating situation, this value should not cross this value. Okay. So when we will be operating a turbine of this parameter in practical field, that time if anybody, you have to write the guideline after calculating, and you have to tell the operator that periodically you should check the permissible unbalance of journal plane A and B, and he has to submit. And the in charge should always check whether this value is crossed U par A, whether it is crossed beyond 17,900, and U par B, whether it has crossed to 10,750. If it is crossed, that means you should tell that there is some problem. There is some problem. We have to rectify it. So this is a common technique, because our course also includes the predictive maintenance. Predictive maintenance means before the occurrence of breakdown, by capturing the data, we should diagnose the health of the rotating system. So this way, so when you will be working in industry, you will be, if you are working in like process and power industry, then these are the application it will come. If you are the in charge of the entire plant or a particular system which involve rotor dynamics, I am sure that this will be applicable, and that time you will be remembering me. These are the things, because I am always trying to give you the flavor of the practical approach, which may not be possible in your textbook theory. So today's lecture was about this. Indrashish, now you can stop the recording.